Hi everyone, CB Smith here, and before I started this channel, before I was even really into reading, I was into playing music, and still am. The intro music to my series Taking a Page on this channel is just me plucking away on my acoustic and my bass guitars. So I got really into playing using my fingers more than a guitar pick when I was introduced to Robert Johnson back in high school. Johnson was a blues musician in the 1920s and 30s Mississippi Delta area. He became a folk legend over the years, starting out as a not very good guitarist until he disappeared for a few months, and suddenly he could play like crazy. So a rumor came about that he met the devil at the crossroads and sold his soul to play that good, like an American version of like Faust or Paganini. The fact that he died at a young age under mysterious circumstances, and one of his few recordings that exist has the verse, "Hello Satan, I believe it's time to go," only helped with that legend.
And I said, hello, Satan, I believe it's time to go.
Even if you never listened to Johnson, you've no doubt listened to musicians that have and were inspired by him. But wait, this video is about a manga, and you're right. Me and the Devil Blues, The Untold Story of Robert Johnson, is a 2-volume series by Akira Hiramoto that takes a few things known about Johnson and creates this mythical Southern Gothic story out of it. RJ in the book is a sharecropper in Mississippi with a wife and future baby on the way. Now, aspiring to be a blues musician, but not good at all, he finds himself in the middle of the crossroads at night, wishing he could be able to play, but at a price. What follows is a series of mishaps and adventures when RJ is recruited by another real-life historical figure of the period that has also been mythologized over the years, Clyde Barrow from Bonnie and Clyde fame, along with a mysterious figure named Ike that follows them around in the shadows. All of this in the book is expressed in some very beautiful artwork. It's hard to convey music in a medium based solely on sight, but Hiramoto does a good job with some panels that look absolutely inspired by the Harlem Renaissance. He also did his research on what he could find about Robert Johnson, incorporating his practice playing in cemeteries and his tendency to play away from the people he's playing to. He has respect for Robert Johnson, but maybe a little too much respect. RJ's character is the main focus for the first half of the first volume of the series, and it's the strongest part because of it. It's just that for a book called The Untold Story of Robert Johnson, it's not RJ's story, it's Clyde's. He's the one that recruits RJ. He's the one that incites the main conflict to the point that I think half the book is RJ either in jail, unconscious, or unconscious in jail. That's about the biggest issue I have with the series, is RJ being the title character, but stuck to the side. At least Clyde doesn't pull a Marty McFly and end up creating the blues. What I find interesting about the series is that it's a Japanese artist writing an extremely American story for initially a Japanese audience, only later translated into English and brought to the States. Hiramoto did not shy away from using real historical horror in his horror story. The racial violence used on African Americans is shown and applied to the story, and to me it doesn't seem very gratuitous, but that's not really my place to say. Lynch mobs being a town spectacle and the use of dogs, it's some real scary stuff, and it does its job well. It's just a bit of a shame that Hiramoto went too silly with what started out as a horrifying villain into something over the top and goofy. Like, naked old men wolfing down candy isn't scary. That's just my Uncle Walter. Like the title of this video says, I'm not a big manga reader. I was a little until Death Note came out and I fell off, so it's been a while. Me and the Devil Blues piqued my interest about a decade ago, and so I dipped my toes back into reading manga, and I really enjoyed the experience. Just don't ask me to read One Piece. Now, I've worked at a bookstore for some time, and I've had parents ask why their kids are reading these manga books where everything is read backwards. This series, not for everyone, may be a decent introduction for those parents. It's an American story with pretty minimal fantastical elements that tend to confuse your regular non-manga readers, and it's only 2 volumes long. I'll send a link on where you can find this series if you're interested. Unfortunately, the American publisher went under, so the books are only available used at this point. Now, when I bought the series about 10 years ago, they weren't that pricey. They were like $12. Now,